Thank you for the survey. Here are all the videos and some of the images taken during the survey. I aim to put it the right way up, but apologies if occasionally one or two films or videos are upside down or 90 degrees. The primary purpose is as a record of the conversation. The conclusions and recommended actions develop as we go along. I will list the items in the email and also on the YouTube video. Things I'm seeing is green down here,
Yeah.
all the way down,
Yeah.
and that tells me that we've got overflowing gutter that's current.
Right.
We're looking at a lot of different elements of it, but one of them is the dew point. Dew point is a measure of the amount of vapour in air.
Right.
It's also the temperature condensation takes place at.
Okay.
And that's really critical. And do you see there's a difference in dew point there?
Sure, yeah.
It may be because it needs calibration. It may be because that's not connected at the moment, so that could be old. But that is high. That dew point of 10.64
Right.
is high. You want to keep the internal dew point below the outside temperature as much as possible.
Right.
And the reason why that is in a perfectly ventilated property, you're going to be replacing your internal air with external air.
Yeah.
The external air can never have a dew point that's above the outside temperature, because otherwise it would rain, and rain is a form of condensation.
Sure, yeah.
And in any property, there's going to be somewhere where you go down close to the outside temperature for various reasons, but including insulation, poor airflow, and internal piping. So we're going to be focusing on that at some stage. But just at this point, I'm going to pull the data loggers, put them together, and calibrate them. When a property when it's been bombed, what would have been an internal party wall between two properties then becomes the external wall, and the insulation is not as good as on an internal party wall. And in addition, you have supports you have buttresses on the outside, which act as a thermal fin, which means that they can draw heat out. A bit like the way that a radiator has lots of little slats so it increases the efficiency of heat transfer.
Right.
So that's transferring heat out of the property.
Right. Yeah.
So you get an increased risk of heat loss. And I'll have a look with a thermal imaging camera. So largely these properties have condensation issues, but in addition, you probably have a penetrating damp issue in the front because of the overflowing gutter.
Yes.
So we'll have a look at that. Normally, you can tell the difference because you get brown staining. Anywhere where you've got excess vapor, you run a risk of getting mold. Mold is only caused by excess vapor, but you can get localized excess vapor. So, for example, where you've got penetrating damp and it just causes the water to come through the wall, and the water then is evaporating from the wall, causing localized excess vapor.
Right. Yes.
Or you get general excess vapor. And as I say, as I came into the property, I could sense that there's quite high levels of vapor. So we'll be looking at that. I do see that you're running a dehumidifier, which is great, but it may not be sufficient in itself, and I suspect that your bathroom extractor fan isn't working particularly well, because it's an internal bathroom, and they always have issues. And I say to anyone in lower ground floor properties, or in properties where you've got a dampness issue, that you should consider putting in a continuous flow bathroom extractor fan, so that's just constantly drawing air out at a low speed, and then when you use the light and that you or have a shower, it senses humidity. It has another speed which is it boosts it up, but you just have a
it's actually constantly running in the background. No, that would be good. We knew that. Well, we've always suspected when we first moved back in that had a really old one in there, and it was a big chunky thing, but it clearly wasn't drawing a lot of air out. So next door neighbour gave us a hand. He was an electronics engineer in his day, and the fan itself has got settings on it for humidity and time and that sort of thing. But I'm not sure that the ducting is adequate to go right through the kitchen.
That's the problem, is that you. Even if it's you get rigid ducting, which is just like a plastic pipe all the way out, and that's the best type. But what a lot of people put in is flexible ducting,
what I suspect we've got,
which has lots of little ridges, and they create eddies, and it reduces the airflow dramatically.
Right.
But the way around that is by having continuous flow, because then even if you're not getting the high speed, you're at least getting the constant through flow.
Okay, good.
I encourage owners to get one of these damp meters. They cost about £20 and they're really good. It's called Doctor Meter, Moisture Meter, and you have to put it onto building.
Right.
So professional ones cost about £600. These cost £20, and I think they're better.
Goodness.
But they're not calibrated, but that doesn't really matter.
No.
So what I do is I look for where it goes to 100%, and that's where the top of the damp zone is. Because condensation is more likely to form at the base of the wall because it's colder at the base of the wall, plus gravity. So it tends to be at the base of the wall. That's why people claim that it's rising damp, but it isn't.
Yes.
Primarily, it's condensation that causes dampness at the base of the wall. So the idea is you use one of these damp meters and just look sort of monthly and just see whether the walls are drying out. And that will give you a good sense.
Right.
So where you've got mould, you can't have rising damp because the nitrates in rising damp inhibit the growth of mould.
I saw that on one of the other things. That didn't ever occur to me. Yes.
You're obviously on a solid floor here. Oh no, it isn't rot. It's just the paint that's flaking off. But because you're on a solid floor, the timber skirting board, it's there for looks. It's decorative. It's not structural.
Right.
So even if you did have rot, it wouldn't. It's just for decoration that you don't need to worry too much about it.
Well, that's reassuring. Yes.
So you got obviously mould here, but you've got these calcium sulfate salts, these salts on the surface here.
Right. Yes.
And it's not a problem. The old name for calcium sulfate is gypsum. It's the same name for plaster, because plaster's made of calcium sulfate mainly.
Right.
So when they dissolve in water, they will move to the surface a bit like normal table salt does, and crystallise. And they crystallise underneath the paint, and they cause this sort of white flaking and blistering. And that's just it's benign. It's nothing to worry about. But you just need to sand it down and repaint it. But I mean, obviously, let it dry first.
So one of the 2017. The boiler used to be in the bedroom, which is not ideal, in there, and so we had it moved through into the kitchen.
Okay.
And we get it's annually serviced, and it never misses a beat.
Okay. Before coming, I looked at all the images and I thought, I wonder whether you've got a leak here.
Right. That would be my completely ill-informed, uneducated guess. The reason being that there used to be a pipe that went somewhere along here into that room there, and you can see that the pipes have been capped off because they used to connect with the boiler in there.
Okay.
So when it was all redone, I can't think of any other reason why there would be.
Well, so just to say that when you got brown staining, it's because you got water passing through building material. So condensation tends not to cause discoloration.
Right.
But on a solid floor, what you can get is condensation forming on the solid floor, rising up and bringing the staining, because as it passes the timber or the...
Right.
So I'm not excluding condensation, but it is an internal wall and it's less likely. But what you could have is when pipes are not in use, they're just slightly colder, and you get condensation, but the heating pipe for the radiator isn't going through the floor. But I just wonder whether do you guys go away for long periods? And
yes.
So sometimes when the heating isn't in use, you get condensation forming, and that could well be. I mean, let's see what the. So I'm going to have a look at the. Have you got a separate stopcock for your water?
For the water supply, yes.
To the front. To the front of the house. Flat.
No, we've got the.
This is to test whether there's a leak. If there is, you'll see a drop in the height of the water because it's fully on.
Yeah.
And it's turned off at the stopcock.
Yeah.
And obviously, if there's a leak, all the water that drips out needs to be replaced.
Right.
And obviously, we're hoping there isn't a leak. And so far, so good. You can normally tell within a very short time whether there's a leak.
Yes, there's actually.
But we will actually double test this because occasionally some of these taps have a non-return valve on it, so it's only I'll test it later on. It's telling me that if generally kitchen extractor fans are pretty fast. It needs to be 30 litres a second, and it is. You've got an overhob extractor fan, so that's good. But
the bathroom extractor comes out the same place as well. I haven't seen it in.
Oh, it's doing nothing. Well, you can see, but it's I'll have a look at the extractor fan and just find out whether the fan is the problem by taking it out and just seeing whether it's running normal speed when it's outside the unit, or whether it's the ducting that's the problem. Sometimes there's something called a backflow shutter, which is which you actually don't need, but it often causes the fan to stop working because it's blowing. If it's forced shut.
Yeah.
If it's put into a tight, particularly if it's flexible ducting, it cannot open, and therefore you're just blowing against a solid plastic wall.
Right.
That may well be the problem. We'll wait until it stops.
Okay.
Dehumidifier it's great to have a dehumidifier, but it's just not big enough. You need to have this. Would be like an 8 or 10 litre a day dehumidifier. You should really have a 20 litre per day.
Okay. Right.
I can't actually see it, but ventilation from the bathroom is your primary solution, and a continuous flow bathroom extractor fan. I think the dehumidifier is beneficial, especially if you go away. You want to have it running and dripping into the sink. It'll save you having damp issues, and two, money, because it is much cheaper to run a dehumidifier than the heating system. And you need, so even if the place was constantly ventilated, but if you don't have any heating, you'll end up having the outside humidity coming in, and when it's raining, it's 100% relative humidity. So you'll be drawing that vapor in from the outside, and if you're not removing it or you're not heating the air, you'll end up having condensation and mold. And dehumidifier is a better, more economic and more efficient solution than ventilation and heating.
Right.
But you have to have it dripping. So one of these has a little plug, and you just
got a hose, got to
drain it,
and extend the hose for it.
So what I recommend to people is sit it somewhere like the kitchen, dripping into the sink, and just keep it running. But I would put it at the full capacity, and I tend to set it to 70% when I'm away.
Right.
When I'm here, I'll set it to about 60 or 65%.
Right. Yeah.
That 50% is A, it's not necessarily that accurate, and B, it's in a central location which is much warmer, and that could be 20 degrees centigrade, but the wall could be 10 degrees centigrade, and so roughly speaking, every 1 degree centigrade increases relative humidity by 5%. So that 10 degrees centigrade change will move it from 50% here to 100% on the wall. So you've got to take into account that element.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
In terms of where to place the dehumidifier, I'd say wherever it's humid, and you'll know that from looking at the dew points on the data loggers, or where you're getting the damp issues. But since you're getting the damp issues all over that flat, you might as well put it where you're generating the vapour.
Right.
What do you do for drying clothes when it's wet and cold?
In the lounge, and put that on to there's a clothes drying function on there.
But again, I think this is too small for it. I think the we all dry clothes internally. I do as well, but I run a dehumidifier 24/7, 20 litre one, and just every day we're probably taking about 2 or 3 litres out of the air.
Right.
So I'd say also this one, I suspect the actual tank capacity is not that big. It's quite small.
Yeah, it's a couple of litres, I guess.
These are now calibrated, and you'll see the dew points are more or less aligned with each other now. So the dew point is a measure of the amount of vapour in air. Well, all of the numbers are in line, but do you see the dew... it's that one, isn't it? Do you see the dew point? So the dew point is 11.6, and it's really high. I don't know what the outside temperature is, but I think it's probably about 6 or 7 or something like that.
Yeah, they say it's warming up today, so
I know, but we got a front coming through.
Yes.
But if you can press the number, if you press the green number, and anyway, just start there. Yeah. So that then synchronizes the data. If you can press the calculator sign top right.
Yeah.
And then export sign top right.
Ah, that's this one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then export CSV. And then send it to me. Have you got Yahoo or?
I've got Yahoo and WhatsApp.
Well, if you do it with Yahoo, it sends it by email, and then send it to myself, Simon@dampsurveys.com. So Simon@dampsurveys. Alternative way of doing it is updating them all by pressing each one of these numbers in turn. Obviously, just one of the either temperature or humidity, and then getting the reading, and then going back, and then you can send all of the data loggers at the same time. So you go back now, and then go on to the next one. You can tell which is the reading. So this says 6:27. Interesting. It's on a different time. Are you on a different time?
No, because I did these all when I got up this morning. So. The 6:27 was when I did them around this morning. Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that one's been updated, but this one apparently hasn't been. Well, that one has been, but the readout is still. So you only actually need to press that, and once it's synchronized, synchronizing it updates. But you also, because I've changed the calibration, you need to. I'll just double check, but I'm actually not sure whether it automatically. I know when you put in the calibration, it automatically changes the numbers, but I don't know whether you have to do that. Just in case, I'm going to do it for each one. Oh, that one's missing data. Oh no, I must have pressed the wrong one. Okay, then if you go to this, that one there, export CSV, you can then export all of them together.
Oh, right.
So you can you just have to press each one and turn and.
Right, okay. That's it, 6, yeah.
And export CSV 6. And then choose your Yahoo.
So we go to Yahoo.
And then send it to myself, Simon at dampsurveys.com.
Right.
Is I look at all the dew points of all the properties together in a batch, and I do a batch of 20 at the same time.
Yeah.
So you can see where you are relative to the other properties, but knowing that all the properties are damp and a large number have vapor issues.
Yeah.
I will then zone in on one or two properties, and it will show you how to do it yourself. You can then upload your data.
Yeah.
But if you want to send me updated data in a week or so's time, I can sort of look a bit more closely at yours. I use AI to do a lot of the work on it.
Well, I'm actually going to Spain on Monday.
Okay, send it on Monday. What have we done on Friday? Yeah.
Friday, yeah.
If you don't get a chance, don't worry, it's not a problem.
Yeah,
But
okay.
otherwise, just send it on Monday. You can normally see the settings. I mean, it's obviously quite dirty. The backflow shutter that doesn't look like it's been opening.
Oh, right. Okay.
So when that stays closed,
Yeah.
you're not getting any airflow. So it's going straight onto a U-bend or an elbow.
And it wasn't a very efficient duct.
I think that's possibly why it stopped the backflow shutter from opening. It needs a good clean as well. It's very dirty. So I'm going to try and clean this out. But before that, I'll just see whether it's working effectively when it's outside the hole.
Okay.
So that obviously tells me that you probably don't have a leak.
But
if I just turn the water in the bathroom and just see whether it drops the level.
Right.
Just flush the toilet and now it's going down. So now we know that this is you don't have a leak
Right.
on your mains water.
That's good. Yeah.
And you don't have to top up your heating system,
No.
although it could be an automatic top up.
No. It's been.
It's got the pressure on
Yeah,
it.
there it is. No.
So you haven't got a leak on your heating system,
No,
so therefore
no.
it's condensation.
Right.
So it was set to about 15 minutes and 90% relative humidity.
Yeah.
So it only triggered it when it was 90%, which is obviously way too high. I've made it about 60% relative humidity and half an hour.
Right.
So half an hour after the lights are switched on, or when it senses humidity, that will turn it on. So it's running at roughly 15 litres a second, which is what you need. So it's nothing to do with the fan itself.
Right.
It's entirely to do with the airflow restriction. And I think it's the backflow shutter that was causing the problem. And we'll see if I put it in and it's fine, then that's, well, we'll know, but we'll see now. So this is now attached and it's going better than it was before. It's running at about 8.59 litres a second. So it's a lot better than it was, but it's losing about a third of its flow because of the ducting. But you can actually get faster fans, so that's also worth thinking about. But I would get a continuous flow bathroom extractor fan.
Right, continuous flow, yes.
So you can get them, they're very easy to install. You can get one such as Ventaxia from Screwfix, continuous flow, you can look it up. Well, I see you selected to do the 750 with a PDF. I don't think you need that, and I can quite happily return the 250 for that. So what it means that I do an extra PDF file report, which is really when you have a dispute or like insurance
Oh, I see.
or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
So you don't really need it in this case.
Okay.
The video is going to be sufficient to solve
Right.
all the problems.
Mhm.
I mean, I've gone a long way to solve the problem actually already by improving the bathroom extractor fan. Removing that backflow shutter was your primary issue because you're not getting adequate ventilation there. It's now it's going to be fairly continuous now. You know how to adjust it if you need to, but use the data loggers to then determine whether you've got too much vapor. And if the internal dew point is above the outside temperature, you run a risk of condensation and mold.
Right.
You haven't got a leak on the system. You haven't got mains walls or heating system leak. You've got penetrating damp to the front. It's possible that you're getting some penetrating damp around there, but I doubt it. I think in that front location here. So this location is you got mold there. I would say that what it is some sort of just natural heat loss. It's just somewhere that's slightly colder because everywhere has got thermal or it's got plasterboard.
There's lots of this.
So for some reason there's a bit of heat loss there, but it's going to be from internal vapor levels, and once you deal with it in the rest of the property, that should solve itself.
Okay, that's good.
The cupboards, I would put in insulation, and I know you've already put in some insulation, but you may find that just resolving the ventilation will solve those. But basically, it's to do with lack of airflow. It's a combination of excess vapor is the primary cause from insufficient ventilation or dehumidification, made worse by poor airflow, because behind the cupboard you're not going to get much airflow.
No.
And because the cupboards are all onto the external wall, and because it was in a party wall originally, and you've got those buttresses on the outside that cause extra heat loss. That increases. I will put my head around the corner just to see if there are render cracks, because that can make it worse.
There seem to be some cracks on that. Yes.
Well, any cracks should be filled, but that I don't think that's your primary cause.
Right.
I think it's excess vapor. You've got a bit of a crack there, but it looks like a plaster crack. And then all of these others can be explained by condensation. The fact that you've got it in one place, it means it's a general ventilation issue rather than a sort of localized.
Right.
You've already got insulation. You've got the polystyrene type, I think. Is it?
With those rolled, just thin roll of polystyrene.
This is Centabpat, which is a German type, which is a liner paper but that will give you a bit more insulation. This will give you even more insulation. This is called Space Therm. It's quite expensive though. This is a very simple form of insulation. It's quite inexpensive. Wood fibre, and that's very cheap. That gives you the same amount of insulation as. Let's see if I've got any. Yeah. So this is Celotex, which is normally side on like that. That gives you more or less the same amount of insulation as this Space Therm, but it costs about 10 times the amount.
Well, this costs 10 times the amount of Celotex.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So you know it starts to get quite expensive. But I think if you deal with the internal vapor levels, you might add in some of that, which you can then paint on. But insulation is part of it as well.
Certainly. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, you've got a huge, great render crack there. You've got lots of them. they've obviously been filled over time.
Yeah.
I mean, as a general rule, a thin crack. So general rule, render will. Oh, you've had dampproofing treatment in the past. You see those dots.
Yes.
Is that in your time or?
No, it's before my time. I found the certificate of it.
It makes damp worse.
Yeah, right.
The reason why is that it replaces normal breathable wall with an impermeable wall,
Yeah.
and it makes it colder because you're losing all the little holes, all the porous material.
Right.
So once a property is rendered, inevitably it will crack over time because of expansion contraction.
Yeah.
What they do nowadays is they put a sacrificial gap in so that you can expansion gap.
Okay.
But you should fill thin cracks with an acrylic-based caulk, so below 3 mil. Bigger cracks you should fill with cement, and these have been filled with cement. These are quite big cracks. I mean, you have a lot, but it doesn't seem to be coming the whole way through. But that may be because it's been hidden by the dampproofing treatment. But what may be happening is that the external brick is getting slightly damper. Damp brick is a poor insulator, causing extra heat loss, and obviously it'd be drawn down through gravity to the base of the wall.
Right.
But so, I think you can get EWI, external wall insulation, that will look basically the same, and councils shouldn't be stopping people from insulating their properties.
Think not, wouldn't you,
it's not going to change the look of it.
No.
It'll just make the profile slightly wider, but and it'll look better because you don't have all the cracks on it.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Is the wardrobe, which actually doesn't look as bad, but you get a lot of heat loss. This is drawing heat out.
Yeah.
You're getting the water from the overflowing.
From that,
Yeah.
that definitely needs to.
That needs to be filled. I would say, so when you're talking about EWI, external wall insulation, you need to still fill the gaps and cracks up.
Yeah.
But the biggest cost is the scaffolding, or at least that's a large cost. So you should do the two at the same time.
Right.
That's what I would do.